Hi, everybody. This is Todd Creager. Today, I want to talk about the topic: is cheating different in the digital age? I've been doing this a long time. And when I worked decades ago in infidelity, it was different than working with infidelity now, much different. Back when I first started doing this work, the cheating was physical, always, always, right? Cheating was doing something with someone physically and then not telling your partner about it. That's what cheating was. You had to go to the person, or they had to go to you, or they had to meet somewhere face to face, and that's what they did. And it was pretty clear cut. Now you have terms, as I've been discussing, called micro cheating. A lot of that has to do with being in a digital age. Micro cheating has to do with a beginning of liking someone and commenting on social media. I mean, that was unheard of 10 years ago, maybe even definitely 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And so there's different shades of ways to disrupt the sacredness of the bond of your intimate partner. Because as any of you have been hearing me from before, have heard me say, is that betrayal is about the emotion of distrust. So if a person is texting an old girlfriend just to see how she's doing and then deletes the text because he doesn't want his wife to see it and be upset and have to deal with it and explain himself. And maybe he has no intent to do anything physical with his ex-girlfriend. I consider that a disruption of the trust because he's hiding and there's some secret stuff going on. The solidarity of the we is weakening. That's the micro hiding that I talk about that leads to the micro cheating that many talk about. And it's a problem. And it is a form of infidelity in the sense that it creates a sense of distrust in the other person. I'm interested in what the consequences are of those behaviors. Okay, so if a person, I've done this so many times, the person is, just to keep that example, texting an ex-girlfriend just to see how she's doing and then deletes the text. And then somehow later his partner finds out that uh, he's been doing this and has been deleting text and he has no intent except just to see how she's doing. How is that person going to feel, this wife in this example? And of course, she's going to question other things that he may be doing. I work with several couples where the things they have done is that basically hide things to avoid conflict. And a lot of times it could be in person, of course, too, but a lot of times it's digitally. So that's one area of the digital in, age, the digital age that's creating these different layers, the different shades of betrayal that lead to the same kinds of feelings in the other person that 30 years ago going out and meeting someone in a hotel did. Okay, now I am not saying that the intent doesn't matter. Intent does matter, and the intent of this hypothetical person who's just wanting to see how his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend was, is very different than the intent of someone who wants to have sexual play with somebody else. So again, I'm just saying that I define and I look at these problems as in terms of the couple. What's the dynamic of the couple? And the dynamic of the couple is going to be affected, maybe not quite as much as if you're going out and doing some sexual activity, but it's affected in a significant way by just that. So the digital age has given us much more opportunity to do things that we then have to hide or we want to hide to avoid the reaction of our partner. Now, obviously, also the digital age has affected cheating because uh, there's access to so much more. I can't think, I'm not sure when it started, when a lot of the presenting problems to me about cheating was about a person who is going on websites or going to OnlyFans or going to one of these websites where they are now looking for some either online activity, sexual activity, or actually leading to something that in person. That's not an old phenomenon. That's a pretty relatively recent phenomena, and that's another way people cheat. So it also does give us more opportunity to to cheat even in the old-fashioned ways. It's how we meet people is so much easier. A person could be doing things just right in front of their partner and cheating. And you couldn't do that back before the digital age. Now you could be on your phone and doing some stuff, and your partner thinks you're doing work stuff or looking at sports, and you're doing something else. So the digital age does present those problems, and of course, it also presents uh, more opportunities for people to get caught as well in the digital age. So not only does it affect the actual cheating, but it affects the discovery of cheating. There are ways, especially when people know their way around technology, that they could find a lot of things, and it's more difficult to hide. Which, of course, coming from my perspective, isn't a bad thing, because I do think that the secrets, as long as secrets continue, it's so disruptive to relationships that even when people are in crisis and the secret's discovered, at least it's discovered, and the other person who's been betrayed has some choice, and they also have the opportunity maybe to work on the relationship and look at some of the real causes of those kinds of behaviors. Um, so I think also I'll add one more thing, and then I'll finish up. Is that I think we've been brought up in our families and in our cultures to be secretive, and we have learned to hide anything that might disrupt the family. Sometimes we just want the other person not be upset with us, so we hide this, we hide that. That micro hiding that I'm talking about, and the digital age has given us again a lot more ways we can be tempted, and then we end up not sharing, not being open. And again, that is the most important thing, the disruption of the bond of the relationship. So we want to enjoy and celebrate all the benefits of technology, but we also have to be aware of the ways it can lead us to this bond disruption. And of course, the most important thing to prevent these problems is to create the kind of relationship where you're courageously being open and connected and sharing with your partner. That was what I would call primary prevention, where you do the things before a problem even happens. But of course, when people come to me, if it's if there's a beginning of the micro cheating and the micro hiding, I would call that secondary prevention, where there's a little bit of a problem. Let's curb that before it gets worse. And you again have to learn how to be more open and courageous and communicative, and create that we feeling, that boundary around you as a couple. And then, of course, there's the ones where everything's blown up, and now how do we deal with discovery of years of cheating with multiple partners, and that I would call tertiary prevention, where we need to be able to recover, if possible, from that kind of cheating. And of course, sometimes even when people can't make it as a couple, they still want to recover as individuals. And again, the digital age makes all that so much more complicated and layered. And so we have to be that much more aware and that much more mindful of how these temptations can disrupt what we usually really want. I've said this. I'm going to say one more thing I just thought of is that when we betray a partner, in a way, we're usually betraying ourselves. Not usually, always, unless we're sociopaths, which I don't really get into right now in these videos. But there's a part of us that goes, I'm not okay with this. So we need to find the ways to do the primary and secondary uh, prevention, so that before our relationships really blow up. But if need be, tertiary. And of course, someone like myself is here to help you in all levels of that prevention. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say about cheating in the digital age. This is Todd Creager, making the world safe for love.